Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start with a story that delves into the intricacies of family estates and the unexpected challenges they can pose. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like if you enjoy the content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a juicy story. I'm not giving half of my mom's inheritance to my cousin. I, 37-year-old male, was approached by my uncle, trustee of grandmother's 95-year-old female, still alive, estate a month ago, and was told that her irrevocable life insurance trust, ILIT, of $800,000 was to be split equal between him, $400,000, and my mom, $400,000, upon my grandmother's death. My grandmother pays the premium each year out of her estate. Now, sadly, my mother died of cancer 2 years ago, and per the rules of the ILIT, I have become the sole beneficiary of my mom's portion, $400,000. Now, a week after being told of this trust, I received a call from my uncle stating that it was now my grandmother's wishes that I give his son, my cousin, 32-year-old male, $200,000 of the $400,000 I inherited from my mom. When asked what money he will be giving to his son, my cousin, out of his portion of the $400,000, he said nothing. He will keep the full $400,000 because he is the son of my grandmother. If I were to agree, he would have me sign a contract saying I will give up $200,000, as legally he cannot change the rules of the trust or me as a beneficiary. Fast forward another week, and now I'm getting angry calls from my grandmother, has dementia, saying that she wants my cousin and I to have equal money, $200,000 each. It's evolved from $100,000 to $2,000 and now $200,000. She's unable to articulate where the money is coming from and alludes to it coming from me, my money, my will. My grandmother seems to have no knowledge of the trust being the source of the money, making it clear that my uncle has been coaching her and hiding the details of how the trust money's to be dispersed. To make matters personally worse, my grandmother recently asked if I wanted to be written out of the family because I'm being greedy. I've also received a text from my aunt, uncle's wife, saying that I'm a bad grandson and have no relationship with my grandmother, etc. All untrue. I love my grandmother dearly and want this to stop. Now, another issue is that my uncle is saying that there will be no money in her estate, will, at the time of her death due to her high cost of living, and thus no money for me or my cousin will be available from her estate. This is why he wants my mom and my inheritance to be split up for his son, who he says will get nothing from my grandmother. Update. I have a consultation with an attorney at 1:30 p.m. today. We'll update all upon further guidance. Update. Spoke with attorney. Uncle is clearly in the wrong. It's an irrevocable trust that was set up this way and not to be changed. The money is solely mine as the beneficiary of my mother who passed. There is no legal standing my uncle has to demand this scheme he concocted. I have no obligation to do anything. If he wants his son to have money, then he can give him money, not my mom's nor my responsibility. He said my uncle is being very greedy. He suggested I ask for a copy of the trust, and if it's not received, then he'll demand it in a legal letter. As for the elder abuse, he said my uncle is definitely unduly influencing my grandmother against his fiduciary duties. He suggested I speak with my cousin and see if he can calm my uncle down to give him a last shot at coming to his senses. If the calls increase from my grandmother, then I could register an elder abuse claim and take further legal action. Update. I have an attorney waiting to see how he proceeds. He sent me a video the day after my other grandmother passed away saying, now I've lost 2 grandmothers. In the video, he shows the insurance premium bill and then shows himself crumpling it up in his hand and tearing it to pieces. He also says it's my decision that I made and it doesn't matter to him. He used a sinister voice while speaking. Creepy video. He did this on the day the premium was due to be paid. He texted me a few days before telling me I had a big decision to make. I'm looking into removing him as trustee now with an attorney. If this is what your grandma wanted, she would have set it up long ago. Your uncle and cousin are greedy and think they deserve everything. Nothing to be lost from losing contact with them. And our second story. Here's your pizza with everything. When I was in college a long time ago, I worked at a national pizza chain. Mostly I delivered, but I got some extra benefits for running 1 or 2 shifts a week as a manager. The following happened when a customer came in complaining about not enough toppings on the company's version of a deluxe pizza. So, for a bit of context, when a customer asks for a pizza with everything, most pizza places will default to their version of the deluxe pizza. These pizzas usually have 5 to 8 toppings, ours had 7, but they're not full portion toppings and are typically the equivalent of a 3 or 4 topping pizza. This is actually because they taste better that way and customers are not charged for a 7-topping pizza or anything. So I'm managing a shift when I hear a customer absolutely berating one of the clerks up front. I intercede and he proceeds to yell at me because he ordered a pizza a couple of weeks ago and barely got anything on it. I explained the portions and why we do them, etc., but he just got more irate. So I said, sure, I'll make you a pizza with full toppings of everything on it, but it's going to cost a fortune, taste terrible, and probably still be cold. So we entered it into the system and the total comes up to be like $60 or more. A lot at that time. He's obviously a little shocked, but pays it. The pizza was like 3 inches tall. We couldn't even cut it with the wheel cutter and had to find a rocker cutter for it. It's ice cold in the middle because the ovens were not designed to penetrate that much stuff and there's no way to cook the center without burning the top and bottom. All the cheese that was on the top just slides into the cut when we're cutting it. It's just a train wreck of a pizza. You could barely even get it in the box. So I take it up front and hand it to the guy who obviously spent the entire time thinking how he could get his $60 back. So he opens it and sticks his finger in the middle and says that the meat's uncooked and he wants his money back. I explained that all our meats were pre-cooked and safe to eat from frozen, so he couldn't have a refund for something I warned him about. He argued for about 5 more minutes and threatened all sorts of things, but I just didn't care. In the end, he headed out with his pizza that most likely went straight into the trash. It's amazing how many people want something, know that you're wrong about it turning out bad, then blame you for proving them wrong. And our next story. Nice little old lady mistakes me for an employee. So this happened to me about 3 years ago. So I don't remember the super fine details. I stopped off at a local Wally World to do some shopping, groceries, cleaning supplies, and some vehicle maintenance supplies. I'd went through there like a storm, picking up what I needed as far as non-food items with my reusable bags and the kiddie seat, so the only thing left to get were the groceries. Cue the nice old lady. As I'm getting ready to grab what I needed, a little old lady comes up to me for help. Keep in mind the store employee dress code, a collared navy blue shirt, khaki or black pant, and a blue vest with the company logo. I'm wearing a black Metallica t-shirt, light blue jeans, and a black baseball cap. OL is old lady, me is self-explanatory. OL, excuse me, can you help me? I've been trying to get some help for a while, but all your other coworkers have just blown me off. Me, I'm sorry, but I don't work here. OL, she takes a minute to see what I'm wearing, then it clicks. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. It's just that I'm having a hard time trying to reach this. It's not easy being vertically challenged. Her words, not mine. And being ignored by a bunch of lazy staff. It also doesn't help that my back is bothering me right now. My advice, never get old. Me, I chuckled a bit after her last line. Trust me, you're preaching to the choir. Anytime I ask if they have more of a certain item in the back, the tired excuse I get is, if it's not on the shelf, we don't have it. The only exception is the automotive department. Those guys actually do check. At that point, I reach up and grab the item she needed and handed it to her. Anywho, here you go. OL, oh, thank you. I really appreciate the help. I really hate to be a bother, but could you help me reach some other items I can't get? Again, I'm vertically challenged, and it's really painful for me to bend over. Me, I think about for a minute and figured to do my good deed for the day. Sure, I'll help you out. It's not like any of the employees are jumping at the chance to earn their paychecks anyway, am I right? OL, oh, I know what you mean, LOL. So I'm helping out the nice old lady, getting the things she can't get, getting some of the things I needed as well, and this carried on for about 20 minutes. After she got what she needed, she thanked me for the help and started making her way down towards the checkout area. I finished up with my shopping and checked out. I paid for my stuff and left. As soon as I had everything I paid for in my house, I started putting things away, collapsing my reusable bags as I go. The bags I had were foldable with a flap, when down, helped keep the bottom of the bag open and ridged. I get to the last bag, fold up the flap, and to my surprise, there was a $100 bill and a note thanking me for the help and kindness shown. I never saw the nice little old lady after that. When people get old, some get meaner and grouchier. Get off my lawn. And some get nicer, like sweet grandma and grandpa. Sounds like you got the nice version. And our last story. My rare car was destroyed by the HOA. My first post on Reddit, and I never imagined I'd be writing about such madness. I recently bought a vintage Maserati, a dream of my entire life, but my neighbor Karen, the chair of the local homeowners association, decided that joining their elite club was mandatory for everyone, including me. My move to the new neighborhood started with pleasant moments, friendly neighbors, green streets, and a tranquility not found in the city center. I'd been looking at this house for more than 3 years, with the main criterion being a decent neighborhood and a house that was not part of the homeowners association, and I found it. And everything was perfect until that moment. Drumroll. Everything changed on the day I brought home my vintage Maserati. I'd been saving money for this car half my life and searched for exactly that model in that condition and color, Maserati 330 British Green. When I bought it, that's when my troubles with Karen, the head of the homeowners association, began. My first confrontation with Karen happened at the mailbox. She approached me as soon as I fetched the mail. Karen, oh, you have a Maserati now. You know, we're all in the homeowners association here. It helps maintain order. You're joining, right? Me. Hi, Karen. Yes, I do have a car, but I don't think my car has anything to do with membership in the homeowners association. Karen, well, we have rules here. I don't think you'd want to go against the system. I brushed off her words like an annoying fly and went about my business. But the next morning was completely different. When I went outside, my beautiful Maserati was splashed with red paint. The letters HOA has spoken stood out in rectangles on the hood. Fortunately, my friend and neighbor Robert, who's into all things security, quite the paranoid, had installed cameras that covered my front yard since his house was across the street. Me. Robert, did you by any chance have the recording on last night? Robert. Let's see what we have. Rewinds the recording. Look at this. The screen clearly showed Karen sneaking up to my car with a bucket of paint in her hands. I immediately called the police. As soon as the police knocked on her door, she decided the best plan was to try and escape through the backyard. Karen yelling over her shoulder, I'm not going anywhere. You won't catch me. But Karen overlooked one detail. A police officer was already waiting for her at the back fence. Her attempt to escape was completely unsuccessful and only added to her troubles during the arrest. After the trial, where Karen was found guilty of intentional property damage, the compensation process began. The amount of $300,000 was a real blow to her. It was serious money, even for such a prosperous neighborhood as ours. Karen, sighing in court, how can I pay such an amount? It's a whole fortune. It's all his fault. The only option for Karen turned out to be selling her house. It was a beautiful 2-story cottage with a park view, and she'd always been proud of how she furnished it. But to cover the debt to me, she had to leave all that. The house sale was quick. She needed to get the money urgently. The last time I saw Karen, she was leaving with a furious face, glaring at me. Karen committed a crime against Italy even worse than putting pineapple on pizza. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.